All right, guys. This is a very sad Hoya. I clearly have overwatered it. It also got sunburned, so I was trying to save it by overwatering, but this is what happens when you overwater one of these ropes. They are very sensitive to being overwatered. So now I'm having to do a rescue mission on this plant. So, we all make mistakes, and I actually have 3 of these, and 2 are doing very, very well. The mistake I made in this pot is that I'm going to take this out of the pot, and I thought this was a sphagnum plant that I had, but it actually is soil. So that's where I screwed up. Anyway, we all screw up. Let's start over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, I like to start by seeing where I can start cutting off. And this is my little compost bin here. And how I know I've overwatered and not underwatered is because these leaves are squishy. They're squishy, they're not crunchy. Yellow leaves can be, well, they're a sign of a root issue. So you're either overwatering or underwatering when you have, I can't remember if I did that, but so yellow leaves is a sign of a root issue. So you're either overwatering, underwatering, there isn't enough drainage, all the things that can cause root issues in plants. So if you ever have friends and it's like, hey, my plant's leaves are yellowing, don't always assume that it's overwatering. Don't always assume that it's underwatering. It basically means that there's root rot, and there's dry root rot and there's wet root rot. So dry rot and wet rot. This one was wet rot, and I thought I had sunburned it, and that's why I gave it more water than I normally would have. And that was the wrong thing to do with this one. I should have taken the time to remember that this one was a soil-based Hoya. Okay. I'm getting rid of the things that I know for sure are not going to be able to propagate. It's really unfortunate because this is actually a pretty healthy piece. I may decide to leave this one and this one together and plant it in a smaller pot, but like all of this section here, I'm going to have to repropagate it. So I'm going to set that aside. I'm trying to figure out what I can save and what I can't save. And even the ones that I'm going to try to save, I've got to get it out of this wet pot. So, okay. Yellow leaves, once they're yellow, they won't ever go back to not being yellow. So you might as well, unless you think that they're giving the plant any advantage, you should just go ahead and cut them off. Okay. Like, ooh, little spider. That's cool. I'll let spiders live. I don't worry about spiders too much. So I think I'm going to leave. Oops. Sorry, my light's doing weird things. I'm at kind of an extreme angle here. Let me pull back just a little. I think what I'm going to do is I'm starting to look here because it looks like down at the root level, a lot of these leaves are okay. And the stems aren't squishy. I'm just getting rid of the bad ones and the gnarly ones. Oh, hello, spider. So I think what I'm going to do is save all of this because I think it'll do okay. I'm going to lose some of these leaves, like that one I'm going to lose. It's going to look a little janky, but that's okay. This one I'm going to lose. But I'm going to set this out and let it dry out. If you need to dry it faster, you can wrap paper towels or newspaper around it, but I'm actually just going to let it sit Outside in the shade. It is 110 degrees outside here in Central Texas. So yeah, it's going to dry out fast. I'll keep an eye on it. I'll set a reminder because you know how it goes. And I've got towels down. I usually don't. They make such a mess, but I don't know. It just seemed like the right thing to do today. It's kind of one of those days. So these right here, even though there's some yellowing, I think I'll be able to propagate, or at least try to propagate some. I'm going to give it an effort. There's probably a 50-50 chance that this will actually propagate well. A good way to tell is I'm going to cut the stem. I've got to remember which way is up. So I think it did like that. It did like that. So let's cut right here and see when I cut, there's no sap in there. So that means that branch is not alive. There's no sap there. Let's see, is there any sap here? Nope. It's a dead branch. I don't know. There is some green. I don't know if y'all can see that, but there is some green on that. So I am going to go ahead and try to propagate this piece. This piece is going to be pretty darn iffy. I think it's too far gone. This piece has some green, so I'm going to try to propagate this piece. And honestly, looking at all these leaves, and it's all kind of mushy here, I don't see, this is probably not going to work. So I'm going to go ahead and just compost that. So I've got these two pieces that I'm going to propagate, and I'm going to grab my basket, orchid basket, and I'm going to go ahead and start filling some sphagnum. I'm kind of lost for words today, guys. I'm sorry. It is hot, and I've been outside, and I'm sweaty, and I'm hot. And you know how it goes. Okay, so I'm going to trim this up just a little bit. Normally on these, I would cut them at each node. I just have better luck with them, but the inner nodule space is so tight on these because it actually has been, believe it or not, in shade or filtered light, and so it hasn't uncurled and gotten leggy. It's kind of done what it's supposed to do because I had it where I thought it was supposed to be, and so we're going to do it this way. And actually, I'm going to cut it here, and so I cut it right there. I'm going to put some sphagnum around it. I don't know. We'll see. Not likely that one will make it, but the other option is I throw this out and they won't make it for sure. So we're going to try this. I'm giving this about a 50-50 chance of actually surviving, but that's better than no chance. So we'll give it a shot. Thanks.